Welcome to the March meeting, which is also the vernal equinox meeting, Pi Day, Ides of March, and St. Patrick's Day edition of the Tucson Macintosh User Group. Our next meeting is on Tuesday, April 16th at this same virtual location. Speaking of the vernal equinox, it is going to happen at 8:06 or 8:07 Mountain Time tonight. So we're right in the middle.
Happy spring.
Happy spring to everybody. In March, we'll have our Ask Me Anything session hosted by Kevin. Chris Wesselman returns with another accessibility minute, and Roger gives us the basics of security do's and don'ts. Please see the chat window for the link to the presenter review poll, but because Bob Doms isn't here yet, it's probably not up there yet.
Right.
So the new virtual door prize for the Zoom meetings, last month's winner was Diana Mueller. Congratulations, Diana, even though she's not here, but Bob Doms has just joined us, so that link will appear in the chat very soon. This month's, we will draw the annual Super Raffle winner. And don't let me close out the meeting without picking the door prize winner. We have Kurt, who will be drawing the name from, and he even will be blindfolded when he draws a name, so he can't possibly be thought to have any bias. There are only 202 entries in the Super Raffle. If you have joined us each of the last 12 months, you will have a 17% chance of winning. It pays to attend. On top of that, the elective officers are not eligible for the Super Raffle, so your chances are even better. Are there any other announcements that I've forgotten? Because we're going to try to get through this quickly tonight and get on to our Apple Vision Pro presentation with Marty, because he is so kind to join us from the Eastern time zone. So it's like almost midnight there. And we want him to have a chance to at least get some sleep tonight, because he probably has to work tomorrow. Is that true, Marty? You got to work tomorrow?
I work as a faculty member, so my hours are variable. I'll be teaching tomorrow night, so I can be sleeping in tomorrow morning. So
that's how it works. I get it. All right. Are there any for sales or wanted to buy? In that case, I'm going to turn it over to Ridge, who's going to give us a tech update, and he will be doing it a little bit more quickly than he normally does. Please. So, Ridge, are you ready to go?
Okay.
He's ready, so take it away, Ridge.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can get, yeah, I can, but let me figure out.
Ridge is demonstrating a new feature in Zoom.
Okay, let's see if I can figure this one out.
Two screens. Hit the play button. There we go.
There we go. For this month, and of course, we start with the latest software updates. And the ones that are probably important to you will be 1Password and Carbon Copy Cloner. And of course, Chrome and Firefox got updates as well, and Little Snitch as well got updated for those who are running Big Sur through Sonoma. Microsoft Office had its update, TechTool Pro as well, and Zoom is now 5.17.11. Apple released GarageBand for those running update for those running macOS Ventura to Sonoma. And the HomePod software got updated, and on Monterey and Ventura and Sonoma also got updated. And if you're running macOS Monterey and Ventura, Safari's now 17.4. And iOS and iPadOS had there were 3 updates there, depending on what version of iOS, iPadOS you've got. And Vision OS is now up to 1.1. tvOS and watchOS and Xcode got updated as well. And now in beta is the firmware update for the AirPods Pro Generation 2. And for Apple News, they have officially canceled the Project Titan effort to develop an autonomous electric Apple car. And they said they're shifting your 200-person team to generative artificial intelligence efforts instead. And as far as those who have a Vision Pro, some of them are showing, some of those Vision Pro headsets are showing a crack. And it doesn't look like it's a bad crack, but maybe it's just in the molding process. Sort of like the crack that appeared in the G4 cubes that was just from the manufacturing process and not from being broken. And they now have told us that their self-service repair program has expanded to include the M3 equipped iMacs and MacBooks. And as far as Sonoma goes, there's reports of if you update to 14.4, your USB hub, then your monitor is going to stop working. And also there's reports that that update causes printers to stop working because it removes the core CUPS software, so the Mac and the printer can't interface. And then there are other line reports that a bug in 14.4 causes Java processes to terminate unexpectedly, and iCloud Drive to lose saved files versions, and the audio plugins are also experiencing crashes. So it's best for now to wait for these items to be fixed in a future Sonoma update. How about if you need a USB hub? So here are some of the hubs that Macworld Online says are good going for this year. Here's the Anker 555. It's an 8-in-1. It's only $50 at Amazon. I'm not going to show you all of them, because if I was going to show you all of the ones that they recommended, it'd take all night. And here's another one called the Ugreen 4-in-1. It's only $16 at Amazon. That's if all you need are USB-A ports. And here's an SA Techie Pro Hub Max. And this is for those MacBooks that have 2 USB ports. You can see the 2 USB male ports at the top there. That fits into the side of the Mac, beyond the MacBook. And it's only $100 at Amazon. And here's a pluggable, only 5-in-1 for the same kind of MacBook. And it's got a slot there so you can stick the MagSafe power adapter into it. It's only $33. And here's a nice one. It's from 12 South called the Stego. It's got 8 ports and it's only $75. It delivers 85 watts on a power delivery port. And that short cable you can see next to it, that fits inside. So you can carry it with you and not have to have that one stuck in your laptop bag. And finally, we got a Basia 6-in-1, only $29 at Amazon. And this one has an HDMI port, and with that, it's got an on-off button. You can see there that's got the green ring there on the. That's the on-off button for the HDMI. And here's, as far as nostalgia goes, there's another check that has popped up, signed by Steve Jobs, and they expect that one to draw thousands of dollars at auction. And also, as far as nostalgia goes, here's a factory sealed 4 GB 2007 iPhone. And that's expected to bring more than $100,000. And it's ultra rare because 2 months after it was released, Apple discontinued it. So there aren't that many of them around. How about rumors? That one of the supply chain rumors says that Apple's really working on folding screens for iPads and MacBooks rather than iPhones to appear next year or later. And then there's one about the Mac Mini to get the M3 Pro and Max chips sometime this year. And then there was another rumor that Apple's working on a Pro version of the iMac with the M3 chip in it and a 27-inch screen. And then Ming-Chi Kuo in Asia says Apple is working on a foldable 20.3-inch MacBook for release 3 years from now. And how about Macs with M4 chips in them being in formal development? Well, we'll have to wait and see on that. And then there's rumors that the iPad Pro and iPad Air are going to be updated later this month. And if so, I'm sure that we'll get Tony Ewan to tell us all about it next month. And then how about if Apple's next watch, maybe called the Apple Watch X, have some sort of blood pressure sensor in it? Who knows? A recent Apple patent application is Apple is thinking they were going to try to create new ways to control the Apple Watches, maybe by making a hand gesture and then rotating the wrist. And here's another watch screen that'll be useful for the wrist gesture and answering the phone and answering questions or whatever. And now remember, we still have logos, cloth logos and pins. If you want to really get one, contact me or Kurt Blanchard, and we'll see how we can get it to you. And that's it for that part of it. And now for security items, Google's updated Chrome with up to 122.129 with 25 total security fixes in. Firefox was updated up to 124.0 and it has 30 security fixes. And there were 4 security fixes by Microsoft for Office for Mac. And Apple was busy during the last month as far as security updates go. And here's all the software that they have security fixes in. Probably the ones that are outstanding there was Monterey got a bunch, and Ventura and Sonoma got the most, and way down to Watch OS had 24 fixes in it. And all of the iPad versions, iPad OS versions got fixes. And even little old GarageBand got a fix. And as far as cybercrime news goes, there's a malware called Atomic Stealer. It gets on your Mac by users installing fake software. It's got a payload hidden in the DMG file. It hides in illegitimate software downloads getting into the OS by a user error and stays hidden using scripts while it steals sensitive data. It was identified last year, but is now evolving into being harder to detect as it bypasses Apple's built-in digital signature check. So the moral is don't download software from shaky online sources. North Korean hackers are using weaponized calendar invites Malwarebytes recently discovered that those hackers are actively exploiting the weaponized calendar invites to install macOS malware. And the moral is don't respond to a calendar invite unless you're absolutely certain of its friendly origin. Roku has disclosed a breach that allowed hackers to gain access to well over 15,000 accounts and stored credit card information. They say that hackers obtained the information and tried to purchase streaming subscriptions in a limited number of instances. Those accounts did not reveal social security numbers, full payment account numbers, or dates of birth. And they say it's since secured those accounts from further unauthorized access, and it's also working to cancel and refund unauthorized purchases. Now, as far as a happy thing goes, for the end of this section of my presentation, once again, Macworld Online recommends Intego Mac Internet Security X9 as their best paid version. It's the fastest they review and has an impressive cleanup rate, and it comes with a brilliant firewall too, they say. And their recommendation for a free version is Avast Security for a Mac. And there is a premium plan available too that you can pay for if you want it. And that's it for me. The moral of the whole day is stay safe. And I'll now stop screen sharing.
Thank you, Rich. We're going to move on to Apple product announcements. Apple has announced a few products this month, and Tony Ewing is going to detail those announcements for us. If you're ready, Tony, take it away.
Okay. So Apple made a couple announcements. The first one, and really the major one, is they have M3 processor-based MacBook Airs now. So this is coming in 13 and 15 inch. It's really a processor update to the M2 MacBook Airs that came out a while ago. It comes in 4 colors still, the silver, starlight, space gray, and midnight colors. And it has the M3 base processor. So it has 8 CPUs, and then the lowest end version has 8 graphics units, and the higher, almost all the other ones have 10 graphics units. This kind of shows a picture on the right of what they look like. You can get these machines with 8, 16, or 24 gigabytes of memory, and between 256 gigabytes and 2 terabytes of storage. The big feature that they made, feature update, is if you're in clamshell mode on the MacBook Air, it now supports 2 external monitors. I will give you the warning that many people have been saying because the MacBook Air has no cooling fans, it slows down if you're doing heavy processing with those 2 external monitors. So good for browsing, good for looking at large things, but if you're going to do video editing or something else, you probably want some way to cool your MacBook Air, either a fan thing underneath it, but they've said it loses up to 50% of the performance when it's in that clamshell mode and you're doing something like video editing. It can really slow it down. It has the same MagSafe version, an audio headphone jack port, 2 Thunderbolt 4/USB 4 ports, and it supports the one of the newer versions, Wi-Fi 6E, which is the extended frequency range. Wi-Fi 7 just came out, and not very many devices are supporting that yet. So that's an update from the M2, which supports Wi-Fi 6, or the M2 MacBook Airs. So then for a table, this is I've highlighted on here that lowest end configuration of M3 13-inch is the one that has 8 GPUs. All the other configurations have the 10 GPU configuration. You can see it starts at $10.99 and goes up to $24.99, and that's the max configuration that you can get. If you want to get 16 gigabytes of memory with a terabyte, it's $16.99. or if you want to get 24 gig of memory with 512 gigabytes of storage, it's $16.99. So I will put these up in the list. I just wanted people to kind of get an idea. There's prices between $1,099 and $2,499. The M2 13-inch MacBook Air is now $999. So they still have one machine that's under $1,000. If you're looking for a deal on a machine and aren't necessarily worried about having the latest, I've seen some prices. I think Best Buy had an M1 MacBook Air for $650. Obviously not the newest machine, a couple of years old, but probably will suffice for a lot of people, depending on exactly what you're doing. So the other two items that Apple announced, so the first one is transcripts with Apple Podcasts. So if you use the Apple Podcasts app, you can now get a transcript in the language of the podcast. It currently supports English, French, German, and Spanish. So this will be Apple will be able to create the transcript, or creators can provide their own. As the podcast is playing, it'll highlight the words as they are spoken, and it will allow you to search for words, and that is shown in the right-hand image there. If you want to search for a specific word in the podcast, you can now do that. The last thing that Apple announced is the Apple Sports app, and I have an Apple One subscription, so I think this app is free for everyone and the sports scores are free, but can someone confirm that?
I believe that's correct.
Okay, so you can pick your favorite teams, follow them, get up to date on in-season teams, and they show what things are currently in season. It will remember the teams that you selected last year when the new season comes around. They haven't put the NFL in yet because the NFL is out of season right now. You can get play-by-play, and it will link to the streaming services that you have set up if they're available for games that you want to watch. So if you click on a game, you can get a play-by-play or a streaming service that provides it. And then this last one is just the links so that you have reference to the Apple newsroom. All those pictures in here are from the Apple site.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate the update. And now we're going to move on to the big drawing tonight, and they're going to be Kurt. Kurt, if you're ready, pick a winner. You're muted, Kurt. You're muted, Kurt. Evidently, the winner of the annual prize is going to be a secret because Kurt is muted.
You have to be able to read his lips to win.
I'm sorry, my fault. I was banging around with this thing. Anyway, the winner was a ticket drawn last June, Susan Clement.
Okay.
Congratulations, Susan. Unfortunately, she's not here tonight, right?
Okay, and she is a current member, so she will be getting the prize for the annual drawing.
Susan texted me and she sends her apologies, but she has relatives visiting from out of town tonight.
Oh, well, won't she be surprised?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go to our special guest, Marty, who says he is running M3 MacBook Air right now. And he's going to tell us, so he's got a new MacBook Air and he's got a new Vision Pro. He's got a bunch of new stuff. So what's the Vision Pro like, Marty?
The Vision Pro is, the more time I spend with it, the more time I enjoy spending with it. I don't have a buyer's remorse. I'm trying to, and I think being successful in starting to use it for productivity. Limited. In the morning, I'll use it to sort out email and sort out activities and add things in that I have to do. using OmniFocus and using Fantastical. And I'll do the same in the evening. I'm starting to use it for production of media and content, and particularly written content, and also PowerPoint keynote kinds of things that I do. I work as a faculty member at Kent State University here in Kent, Ohio. And so, that's a lot of the content production that I have to do is mainly PowerPoint and some video. So I'm slowly moving myself over from an entertainment device and just a fun device altogether into one that's more productivity. I would like to maybe not be your special guest. I would like to maybe be another member of the club. I mean, I met Bob at Macstock last year and started to seek out clubs that have virtual meetings, because unfortunately where I'm in Northeast Ohio, our club is not talking about Macs enough and not talking about the equipment, and talking about the software and the new releases. It's kind of melded into a social club more than a tech club. So I was glad to find this club, and also thankful that that you sent me a poster, which I wished I would have had done in time. It's right now being put in a frame, and I'll have it hanging in my office. I'm doing this from my living room. You'll see, for obvious reasons, when I start to do a demo of the Vision Pro. But the Vision Pro has been out a lot, and you've probably heard a lot about it already. So I'm really more interested in entertaining questions when we can. I have a PowerPoint, or a keynote rather, that I can take you through to touch on some of the points, and I'll do that. But I'm really curious about the questions. I know there was a comment about the cracked gate in the headset, and there's a whole story behind that, and where some of those problems are arising that I can answer from a question standpoint at some point. So I'll entertain a question now or two. Hey, yeah, go ahead, Bob.
I got a question, Marty. What applications are you finding most useful in being productive on the Vision Pro? You say you're doing, you said the word PowerPoint. So I imagine you have Office loaded on Vision Pro?
I have Office loaded on. I actually am using less PowerPoint because it's a little more klutzy than Keynote is. The applications at this point are similar to applications that you would find on an iPad. There are very few applications that have transitioned over to just a particular Vision Pro for that maximizes a lot of the Vision Pro, Vision Pro OS. So I'm using primarily Mail. I'm also using OmniFocus, which has come out with OmniFocus 4. And the reason I like that is because it's something that is on all devices. So if I'm going to look for an application, I want to see it across my phone, I want to see it across my MacBook, I want to see it across my iPad, and I want to see it across my Vision Pro. And OmniFocus didn't have that it had it on all devices for about a month, and I actually emailed Ken Case and said this, or caught him on Mastodon and said, this is great, but I'm waiting for it on the Vision Pro. And he gave me a test pilot release to be able to work on it. And then a week later, it came out on Vision Pro. So I'm using Fantastical, Mail, and OmniFocus. Those are the primary applications that I'm using. I'm using also using, as I said, Keynote and sometimes PowerPoint. I'm using Word on occasion in terms of constructing text and doing that. I'm using Siri a lot. I don't want that to trigger anybody, but Siri works really well on this device in terms of giving it commands and doing such. So, okay, so I'm seeing a question from Melissa.
Hey, Marty, thanks for coming to join us. We're happy to have you. My question.
I just lost you. Go ahead, Melissa, again.
We lost you, Melissa.
Oh,
Chris?
yeah, Marty, has the 1.1 software come out yet?
I'm running betas, and so yeah, it has come out. At least
Okay.
I'm using it. And the difference is in the persona, which they say they were going to improve the persona, and the problem with it is, for me, it's made it more difficult to create a persona.
Okay.
It says you do all the same things where you're holding the device up, you're looking at it, it's giving you directions, and it constantly tells me to have more emotion in my face or to relax my face. And it's like, it is relaxed. That's as relaxed as it gets. So it took me a couple of attempts, and I actually used, when it realized I wasn't doing a very good job with it, it gave me sort of an accessibility option. And I used the accessibility option to create my new persona. And it's a better, I'll try and grab it and throw it in the chat so you can see what it looks like if you like. It also is 1.1 is also set up so the device can be managed through device management. Like a business might have a couple of them, and they can manage it all through that. We're really holding out for 2.0.
Did they improve eyesight at all with seeing the eyeballs?
Yeah, actually, I've noticed a lot of improvement in that.
Oh, good. Okay.
I wear contacts during the day, and I wear glasses on top of the contacts. I wear readers on top of the contacts for being able to do computer work and close-up work. In the Vision Pro, I just wear the contacts. And if I started using the contacts at the beginning of the day and I picked the thing up at night, my contacts had just they're daily, so they got droopy and swelly, and the eyesight was not very good as a result of that. I'm getting less misses with my eyesight. So I think it's been an improvement.
Okay, one more quickie for entertainment. How much are you using the headset versus just your monitor for YouTube's, movies, anything that you're visually watching on screen?
Well, upstairs in my office, I've got 3 monitors. So one is always running something that's entertainment. Lately, it's been Mystery Science Theater 3000, which is an old show that you might know. It's available on YouTube streaming, and they also have a stream on MST3K is on a streaming service that's available and free. So that runs in the background. For sitting and watching entertainment, the biggest impact I had with it is it's great for movies, particularly for 3D movies. On a flight, it is the best entertainment system that you could get. And I flew out to Portland and used it back and forth, watched some 3D movies on it, incredible. I don't sit a lot during the day in terms of I'm going to sit and watch a movie. So I haven't done too many 2-hour movies sitting here on the couch. I'll watch some Apple TV stuff and some of those shows that are an hour or a half hour on it. It really is pretty remarkable in terms of using it as a immersive entertainment device.
Do you like to use the 180-degree screen?
I've done it for panoramas. I might be able to show a panorama picture tonight so you can see a panorama shot that I took. With it. It is frighteningly wild. I mean, it's almost vertigo inducing. But it's pretty amazing in terms of that. I don't do a lot of photography, so this has been hit or miss for me to find some of those panorama shots I've taken. And so yeah, I would like to see more media that way. I've recently downloaded an app for Vision Pro that I opened up my photos, and what it does is it takes two-dimensional flattened shots and will change it into a depth of field so it looks like it's spatial photography. So I have this, and if I can find it, I have this ridiculous, but you wouldn't probably notice it coming through your screen. But I have this ridiculous shot of me as a kid standing with a group of parents looking pretty disgusted that I had to have my picture taken. And I was able to kind of just blow that out. It's pretty amazing with the spatial photography thing. I know Bob's hand was up. I saw Ridge kind of waving. I don't know if he had a question.
Okay,
or
I am muted. I have two questions. First one is not for you, Marty, it's for everybody else. Should we allow Marty to join T-Bug by show of hands?
Oh, sure.
I think I already am. I mean, I've been sending somebody a check.
Mark, did we get a check from Marty?
Did I send you that we got a check? Marty, when did you send the check?
I don't know when the message came out to send the check. Because I remember writing T-Mug on an envelope. So,
Hold on, I'll go through my emails to the board and see if I can find when we got one.
Well, then we consider you a member, Marty, and welcome to the club. My question for you really is, have you found a piece of third-party software that just delights you, not necessarily making your work easier or something like that? What have you found that really, in the next couple of months, we're going to have a meeting that is, what is your favorite piece of software? And do you have one for Vision Pro?
Yeah, I'll try and show it tonight.
Okay.
I'm in my living room. I've got it pretty well lit. My wife is upstairs asleep. The door's closed now, so she probably won't hear this, but, and so my hope is to be able to show some things as steady as my head can be, to demonstrate this. But there's a piece of software that basically is a diorama, and it's a series of dioramas that you can choose from. And the objects for the diorama drop down out of the ceiling and sit there floating in the air, and then you carry them and put them in and build this diorama. And when you think you're done, more objects fall. And so it's about a 4 or 5 episode process of doing it, and then fireworks. When you finish it, the room fills with fireworks. It's just a very kind of meditative puzzle game. There's one that's a little bit more complicated and not so much of a meditative game. It's a little stress inducing for me, but it's also pretty amazing. It's this 3-dimensional object puzzle that you put together of pictures. So there's like cathedrals and there's mosques, and you're building them with these kind of jagged puzzle, 3-dimensional jagged puzzle pieces. So that's just been fun. I've really enjoyed that game, that kind of stuff with it. And there's a question in the chat. There's a bunch of questions in the chat from Melissa. So I know she was in, and then her voice went out. For people with mobility challenges, can you use Vision Pro, Raffle? Oh yeah, definitely. There are a lot of people who lay down and watch the movies that way. that you don't necessarily need to be up and interacting. Although there are some apps where they will tell you, you know, this is going to be a three-dimensional experience. You can get up and walk around, but be careful and be aware of your environment around you when you walk around. This has got pass-through in it. So when I turn this thing on, you'll see what my living room looks like with whatever we're playing with in the middle of the room. Do you notice any headaches or other issues from the weight of the headset? For me, that's been overplayed. I'm sure there are people that have legitimate headaches. People are talking about how using this single knit band is what they call it, is much more stress on the head. This is pretty much all I've used. There are bands that go across the top. There are some people that are connecting two of these. So there are two more bands where it's almost getting humorous. You know, why don't they just create a helmet for it? You know, I haven't noticed the headaches. Even when I was on the long flight for 4.5 hours, I didn't notice the headaches. And I took it off, you know, for breaks here and there to swap out batteries, but I've never fallen asleep on it. It's just too interesting to fall asleep. Sometimes I've been really tired doing those puzzles, like I got to finish this damn thing so I can go to bed. Kurt?
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize. I just checked the database, and you are a member. Welcome.
Thanks.
Well, everybody agrees, so it's good to have you. If they didn't agree, we'd still keep your check.
Right.
Okay, that's all right. Ridge, your hands up.
Melissa says that she loves MST
T3K.
3K, which I think maybe means Mystery Science Theater.
Theater
and
3000.
not Mountain Standard Time. So
and you can find them on Twitch TV, is where I've been watching them. And they're just running a 24-hour marathon of everything. So it's great fun. If you pay $5, you get it without commercial interruption. So, okay, Ridge, I'm sorry.
I was wondering if you are you able to watch Apple TV stuff like Masters of the Air?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, for me, that's a big part of the product. I've been watching Dick Turpin, which is, I watch a lot of British comedy panel shows like Taskmaster and Would I Lie to You? And Noel Fielding is one of the characters that appears on a lot of those, and it's just a fun little show that I've really gotten into lately. So, but yeah, I've heard people who have watched Masters of the Air on it. There's another guy that is at Mac Voices with me, and he has watched Masters of the Air, and it's supposed to be a tremendous experience using the headset.
Melissa also wants to ask, have you ever fallen asleep with the Vision Pro on?
No, I've gotten, you know, when I use it late in the evening, it's like I get tired, but I haven't fallen asleep with it on.
Okay. Any other questions for Marty?
Yeah, any other questions? I've got some canned stuff that I can go through, but and I can just jump into the device. Yeah, Chris.
How does the sound work, Marty? And have you used AirPods or any other headphones, like while your wife's asleep type thing?
Oh yeah. The sounds, I learned this before I got on the flight, but you can see this little part of the device here, and then there's a little slit here that points towards your ears, and that is essentially the speaker. The sound is remarkable, thinking that it's just coming out of that little slit and going into your ear on both sides. It's really pretty remarkable. However, if you're on a plane flight and you turn it up loud enough to hear over the engine, then what you're going to do is disturb all the people around you. And you're not going to drown out the airplane noise. So I hooked them in with AirPods, and luckily I learned that before I got on the flight. So I was prepared to go with the AirPods. Melissa talks about, it's great for meditation exercises. There are a couple of meditation apps built in. Some of them are just tonal apps where you can hit things and create tones with them. And for me, the diorama thing is very meditative and relaxing. And the music that plays with it has that same effect. And I think I saw Kurt, did you have your hand up again?
No,
Nope.
Okay.
somebody did.
Fitness Plus, I don't think you want to jump around with a $300 or $3,500 piece of equipment on your head. Fitness Plus is not built into this, and you can't find it. It's not one of the standard apps for it. There are some apps in it, like if you're familiar with Meta. I have a Meta 3, so Zuckerberg's talking about how better it is. He's lying. But they have like Beat Saber, you might have seen, where you're kind of moving the devices around, and they have a very similar app for that that you can purchase for Vision Pro. No yoga, no. There's seated meditation, I think, is the closest that you can get with that.
Are you getting any info from the developer community at all, Marty, in terms of what could be coming?
I pay a lot of attention to, there's a Discord group for Apple Vision Pro folks. And you can also make there's a way to show a picture of the device and your email address, and you become a certified member of the group, not just people that are in there for the chatter. There's a lot, I think, that people want to do with the interface or have done with the interface. And you'll see it is a slide page to page, alphabetical. You can't move the apps around. It has a very kind of first gen iPad feel to it. And they're suggesting that you're going to have more customization possibilities with 2.0. And we're hoping to see 2.0 come out around WWDC. That would make sense that it would be there for the developers to begin to play with. Unfortunately, this thing was put out long before developers had a chance to really have their hands on it. So, I'm impatiently checking every week for what the new apps are, hoping that developers will jump on board, and it'll take them time to really get their visions of this product going. But the big talk is about 2.0, allowing more customizability for the user. So it's not necessarily going to come from developers, it's going to come from Apple.
I heard too that Apple was somehow restricting sales in the US to try to get them outside the US. And I'll be real interested to see what happens, what comes out of Asia.
Yeah,
in terms of developers
there's no projection on when that's going to happen. Melissa is asked about accessories, things that like golf clubs or things that you would use with Wii's. That would be coming probably out from outside developers than from Apple. Belkin has a kind of clip-on belt for your battery. I've got mine in my pocket right now. And Belkin has one that slings over your shoulder for that purpose. But there aren't a lot of accessories. Another device that was suggested to me through the Discord group was this little handheld, about the size of a pack of cigarettes. It's almost like a BlackBerry keyboard. And this is a Bluetooth keyboard. Now, you can do any Bluetooth keyboard you want to with it, and I have an Apple chiclet keyboard that I Bluetooth with it when I'm working, but this looks like it could be rather adventurous. It's backlit. It has function keys and it syncs. So when I'm working on a document, I can have this up and I can see it in my field of vision instead of looking down at the table, then looking up at the document. And it allows me to do input into the document. And when you do that with Apple Vision, you get like a little text bar that comes up that as you type it in, you can also see it not only in the document, but you see it come up in the text bar, so you can make pretty quick corrections with it. I am not a fast typist, but so I'm looking for alternatives. This is probably easier to take out on a plane and manage than a full keyboard.
Is it thumb typing?
It's thumb typing. Yeah, my fingers are nowhere near the size of these, or way over the size of these buttons. So it's thumb typing. Yeah.
So I've heard that everybody should go get the demo at their Apple store. But if you're not sure you want it, you shouldn't take a credit card along with you. Have you done the have you done the demo at the Apple store, Marty?
My getting this device, the setup for getting the device the week before was a mess. I couldn't get any information from anybody about it. I talked to I called into Apple twice and was saying, are you gonna do the release like you usually do, where we can go into our account and we can set up and just push a button to buy? And they were like, yeah, we're gonna do it like everywhere. Well, when is that? Like we've done all the new releases. And I said, well, when is that gonna happen? Well, it's gonna happen. And then they gave me the release date. I'm like, no. Even the people on the phone didn't seem to understand or have a history about how Apple releases devices or how they've released them recently, where they give us an opportunity to go in and, like with the phones, do an early setup for our purchase if we wanted to get it on release date. Then the complications with lenses. What lens do I get? Do I get one for my readers? Do I get one for my contact lenses? Or do I just go ahead and buy both, which is what I wound up doing. I'm using pretty much one now. And it was the way my doctor wrote the script when she wrote it a year ago. That made absolutely no sense. And so that was complicated because I couldn't get answers about that and how to do that. The head sizing thing was ridiculous. I did it 3 times before the actual purchase date. And apparently my head got bigger and bigger and bigger over those 3 times. So there was no consistency. I went to purchase it and I had an issue with, a decimal point on my address, which always screws me up when it doesn't need to screw me up. The pre-purchasing would have solved that problem. So I didn't get it as quickly as I would have. Plus I got a larger drive storage in it. So it looked like I wasn't going to get it for 2 weeks. The Discord group, the next day, somebody said, hey, you need to check your local stores and check stock because they've got it set up so you can go in and purchase again and get it day of release. So I went in another time and then purchased it and got it for day of release and canceled the other. The whole process was a mess. And I haven't found anybody who hasn't said anything different about it. So I didn't get a demo. I showed up at the store and picked up the device. They remeasured my head to confirm both that one of the measures was correct. I had purchased a sleeve, an extra sleeve for the other one. And I figured I'd just return it if it didn't fit. Well, that also happened to be my son's size. So I kept both of them. And sometimes switch between them. So I got in there and it was like, I just want to get out. I want to get my stuff and get out. So I didn't go through the demo. I do agree with you though, Bob. If you haven't had a demo, go get the demo. What I show you tonight is you're seeing it in a two-dimensional screen. You don't get the experience. Also, you get a sense of the spatial computing that you won't get from watching a video of it. It's worth going to get the demo. Leave your credit card at home if you dare, or take it if you dare. But you'll get a view of how this is a new platform. It's not AV or AR, and it's not VR. It's it is completely a different computing platform. And so when Mark Zuckerberg talks about how it's better, or you read articles about comparisons between Meta and Apple Vision Pro, it's like comparing apples and oranges. It's two different platforms. One is built on a computing platform with the potential for productivity. The other is a gaming device. Nothing wrong with gaming devices, but even their $1,000 version of Meta can only do Mondays, which is an app that is sort of a scheduling planning type of app. It doesn't have a full ecosystem for productivity. So I didn't get the demo, but I saw enough of them and enough of the PR stuff that Apple had put out that it was really, once I got it on my head, it was really rather intuitive to be able to set it up and run it.
Melissa's got a couple of questions, and I wanted to ask, did you get the base unit? Of course, you added 2 sets of glasses and 2 sets of the facial pad, but did you get just the base version, or did you upgrade the memory?
My original order was for a 1 terabyte. And then I canceled that order when I did the order that was on day of release, and that was a 512. I didn't get the 256. However, I'd be hard pressed to say it right now. I'm probably not even close to 256 in terms of what I've got on it. So, but I did get the 512. Yeah. So, and then Melissa, you asked about paint. What about painting? I haven't explored there yet. Is there a digital painting app with a paintbrush? I don't know. And I do love Bob Ross. I used to watch him on WTTW in Chicago growing up because there was nothing else on 3 channels. I'd love to see something along the lines of Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Oh, there's an app in here that is, well, you probably are familiar with it from your phone. I think it's Skyview. And you can take that out, you take your phone outside and you can get a whole map of what's going on in the sky, and it uses the direction. This is immersive. And I was playing around with it, looking at the different constellations, and I'm like, oh, there's Cassiopeia. Let me see what happens if I touch Cassiopeia. Well, I grabbed Cassiopeia, pulled it down, and it was floating in front of my face. And then it gave me a whole dialogue panel of what Cassiopeia was. So there are some really cool stuff. And then there are apps that you can build a skylight in like in this house. I could put a virtual skylight in it and have the stars in it. And if I walk to the left or walk to the right, you get that same sort of movement aspect in it. Do you walk around the house using it? What does your family think? Initially there was a lot of kidding and a lot of jokes. I don't walk around a lot with it. But I can, because it's virtual pass-through. And you can leave, if I have it running and I leave a window up in my room, I come down and I get something to drink with it on. I don't want to take it off. I can walk back up and the window's still there. I dream of the day that I could just kind of deposit windows all over the world and come back someday and find them there. But That is one of the concerns about the operating system is every time you start it up, you pretty much have to do your layout. I've never done much with widgets. Or not widgets, what are they? Shortcuts. I could never figure out the logic for shortcuts, but I do have a shortcut that this forced me to create, which was AVP Startup. And AVP Startup has like 3 or 4 programs that when I say AVP Startup, they all open up on my screen. And that's my mail, that's my calendar, that's my, the productivity suite that I'm using. So it gave me a reason to do a really simple shortcut for that purpose. Are you able to try it out? Are they able to try it out? It's really only made for one person. There is a guest mode on this. I took this to my local mug, and we were able to put it in guest mode and have 3 different people try it, including one person who had some sort of prism vision and he put it on, or it was kind of monocular vision, and it kind of corrected for his monocular vision. He said didn't think it would work for him, but it did work for him. Yeah, I didn't see the Porsche intro, but if I think what you're talking about is you can actually put a Porsche in your front room. There is a demo for being able to do that. The one that I have is the Mars rover, which you can put in, and as you look at different parts on the rover, you can spin it around, you can make it full size, you can shrink it down. And as you look at different points on it, because everything is guided by what you're looking at. And then when you're looking at it, if you click your 2 fingers together, it activates it. So it's that combination that activates. So it's different. A lot of people will take it and start to do this and start to try and point at stuff. You don't do that. You look at it and you tap your fingers together. In the demo, you'll have an opportunity to do that. People who are really Mac people who want to play with stuff once they get it, the demo is kind of canned, which means they're going to walk you through some things that they think are high-selling items, high-selling aspects of the item. When you're going to say, oh, I just want to open this app, that's not part of the demo.
So for the Porsche thing, there's actually a video on Mac Rumors, and the head of Porsche is not at the test track. And the test track part, of course, is test track and funky, but they do break a couple of land speed records for cars. And so this electric Porsche is the fastest car on the planet and all this stuff. But the head of Porsche is watching the whole thing on an AVP, and he's got a track. He can see it in real time. He can see all the gauges and tables and stuff. So it's the first actual spatial computing thing I think that I've seen kind of happening in real time that we could sort of appreciate what it could be like to be able to analyze data that's not visually possible in any other way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there is one app that I haven't purchased, but it's meant for businesses who want to be able to do 3D modeling. And that to be able to be shown. And the example they have is like a jet engine, and you can just the jet engine can expand and the parts can come out and then they can come back together. And the idea is if I'm trying to sell somebody a jet engine, they can visualize and see all the parts within it. So there's a platform that's like computer assisted drawing, I guess, that makes these 3-dimensional models of objects that you want to sell. What happens if you look at your phone while you're wearing it? The resolution is not bad. But for real detailed writing or text, if I'm looking at it, I really have to get up and concentrate to see it. The field of focus or field of vision on this, the focal point is 4 feet. And so that's why I had to figure out which ones am I gonna use, my close-ups or my far aways. And so it's kind of a stress if something happens on my phone and I want to find out what it is. It's kind of a stress to be able to read some of the text with that. It's not necessarily actually more productive to go through mail. It's just a different way of doing it.
Which do you prefer, Marty?
Pardon?
Which do you prefer? What do you lean to? Do you lean to the AVP for looking at your mail, or do you lean towards the computer or a
I
laptop?
like
or
the
phone?
AVP better than looking at my phone. Usually I'll get up in the morning, sit in a chair that you'll see in a moment and do this, with my phone. And actually prefer the AVP. It's a much bigger theater for me to work with. If I'm really composing, then I'm clearing out the stuff I don't need to. I'm flagging or pinning the mails that I have on my AVP and then going upstairs and working on composing on my studio Mac upstairs. So it's a blend in terms of the productivity environment. Just going and doing that for 8 hours upstairs, I need to kind of shift my environment.
But people
And maybe
with
throw an occasional puzzle in.
people with vision challenges like macular degeneration and stuff like that, who have difficulty reading a phone, do you think they'd be able to read the AVP better?
It allows you to magnify text in a way. You can stretch it and make it as big as you want with that in process. Are you able to use your AVP as a display for your MacBook? Yeah, certainly. And the resolution is actually pretty good. I'm trying to be cautious of the time. I can do this for hours, but I might want to try throwing this on and seeing if you can see what I'm seeing through the headset. The issue with this is you have to remember our brains adjust for our visual field. So if you might move your head in like really small amounts, but your brain and your eyes are wired to make that change. The Vision Pro isn't. So it'll look like it's a really shaky experience. It's not that way. Particularly go to your Apple store and sign up for a trial and you'll see it's different. But I can show you some of the things if we go in. And if that generates more questions, that's fine. One of the glitches in this, I think, is one of the things I'm not wild about is the attachment. There's that little metal punch out attachment. And this starts out, this is the battery attachment. And it fits in there.
It's not magnetic.
It's not MagSafe. It fits into a little groove and then you have to
Twist it.
turn it. And you get this little light that indicates it's going on. I have to remember how to do this. I think I do share screen here. So I'm going to share this. And that was my programmed. Not now. Stop asking me if I'm joining Microsoft PowerPoint. I have the inserts in here and I'll put it on and then I will start to. Takes about a minute to boot up. There are people who are saying how they like to leave it on all the time because it takes so much time to boot up. And I'm going to give you a little bit of shot. So I'm putting in my code. It's telling me that I've switched to my prescription inserts. I don't need to know that. Let me get into mirroring. And oh, I don't want to do that. I just mirrored it upstairs. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes, yes.
All right. So again, it's not going to be as clear, but this is my living room. I put some lights on in the background. I have some lights behind me. There's my laptop. And what you're seeing is the menu up through. Oh. And so I've got these menu items. Let me try this. Siri AVP start. So I have this little application that apparently, there it is. Lava lamp battery. I'll take it and put it over there. It tells me what time it is, and it also tells me the battery. And there's my schedule. And over there's OmniFocus, and there's my mail. So I can move them close. As you grab them, they go a little translucent, and then as you let go of them and place them, so you can see my schedule's in the back there and is translucent. But if I bring it forward, it comes a little more solid. So, I mean, that is the gist of it, is that you can place these where you want them, and you can work with them, and you can place ones on top of each other and still find them back in the environment. And I'm looking, as I look at the device, I look down at the bar lights up, and then I can drag it and move it around. If I look at the device and the little X down at the bottom lights up, I tap and I can close that up. I can put that on top of the piano if I want to, but I can't see it that far. So I'll move it a little closer. Let's see what else there is to get to more. You want to try and do that sky? What do you think? I was looking through this and thinking of cool stuff to do. Okay. Where is the one that oh, it's right here. Voyager. This is San Francisco's airport. And it should give me adjustments for starting to show planes coming in. I can put it right in front of me. Let me go to, it gives me information about San Francisco's airport. It will give me information about planes, but I need to go to favorites. And I'm going to Tucson's International Airport. And it might be taking some time. Either it's not getting the data or it is not taking the data. Let me look at
Well, we have a lot less
Chicago,
traffic here
O'Hare.
too.
Yeah. So this is Chicago O'Hare. trying different towers. Ah, there's a plane. I don't know if you can see that flying in.
Yes, we can.
And I think I'm actually picking up the air traffic controllers. So that plane is coming from, I don't know what RSW is. What airport that is. But it's giving you direction and speed in landing. And more will appear as time happens. So that's kind of a cute little dimensional thing that you can do. Yeah, I'm listening, I'm hearing in my ear, the air traffic controller.
That's Southwest Florida International Airport, that code.
In
Oh.
Fort Myers, Florida.
Let's go to Sky Guide. And Sky Guide will give me, let's do it at night. And let's go ahead and do mountain. So I am not sure what you're seeing. Can you see any of this? Or is
You
it too
see some
dark?
guy upside down.
Yep. That is not Cassiopeia. There's Cassiopeia. Brings me back to my Boy Scout days. So let me grab Cassiopeia and bring her down right here in front of my face. And there is stuff that you want to know about the history, the astronomy with Cassiopeia. And I can put her back in and oh, this is Draco, another Boy Scout constellation I had to memorize and find. And it looks like Pegasus. Yeah, Pegasus is on the horizon. I look down there. Oh no, it's not Pegasus. I saw the wing and assumed it was that. Cygnus.
Can you talk about the hand gestures
Swan.
that you're using?
Pardon?
Can you talk about the hand gestures that you're using to interact with it?
Yeah, I mean, as I'm
Pinching?
scrolling up, I have my hand, my finger and my thumb together.
And why is that? Does it give you
And-
some indication that you're working with a page?
Right,
Like it's a piece of
yeah,
fabric?
yeah, it's on like a scroll bar on a website. You would grab it and, you know, with your mouse and pull it up or pull it down. And to
And how do
close
you
it, I look
learn
at
the
that X.
gestures?
How do you learn the gestures?
Yeah, is it intuitive? Like you just kind of figure out what to do, or does it give you a walkthrough in the very beginning that this is how you place your fingertips? Like, you know, on a trackpad,
it's-
for example, you use multiple fingertips.
Yeah, and then I'd like to say it's intuitive, but they probably gave me a walkthrough, but I was too excited about the device to do the walkthrough or remember that I did it. There are certain things you do, like you can take both of your fingers, and sometimes that when you take that motion, it stretches, it makes the object bigger. You take your fingertips together and swipe left to right, it's gonna page through the apps.
I see you doing a lot of pinching, a lot of pincher grasp,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen you do
Yeah.
any tapping yet.
Oh, well, you do, well, let's take something. Let's take the Mars Explorer. Okay, so you might not be able to see this, but I'm looking directly at that icon. And when I look at that icon, it kind of pops out of the page. If I look down at
Okay, so you
Lungi,
point your
it
eyes.
pops out of the page. So my eyes are tracking and telling it what I want to open. If I look at
So
Fantastic,
your eyes are the
now
input.
it's the eyes are the input. You know, I guess I could do this, but that doesn't work for. They have a keyboard input that you can do that with your fingers that show up here on some of the apps.
That's what I wondered about. How do you type?
but you look
Do you
at,
ever do
well,
anything with an open
you can,
palm?
I don't know anything with it.
Do you
There's one
swipe?
app that asks me to, to swipe? No,
Mhm. You have to grab it. So you
no,
have to
that
pinch and
doesn't,
grab, and then that's
you
what
have to
moves
put
it.
your fingers together. Yeah, you hold it
Aha.
together. Now my fingers haven't been released. If I tap it, so I'm looking at Mars Explorer. If I tap it, it will open. And there's a 25% sized Mars Explorer. That's at about 60%. Filling my living room. And if I look
When
at parts of it,
when
yeah,
AR
I'm
first
sorry.
came out on the iPhone, I landed the Apollo lunar module on my coffee table.
So here's the coring drill. If I want more information on the coring drill, I can look at how it's used on the Mars Explorer, on Perseverance. And I think I can spin this thing around. Oh, yeah, kind of sensitive. So I can get all sorts of angles of it.
Is it mostly one-handed, or do you use both hands for anything?
I can use the other hand.
Okay, so it's
Is
not
this
left or
gonna
right
allow me to?
independent.
Yeah, no, it's not. And again, for whatever reason, it's not letting me stretch the piece. It's having me use this in terms of changing the size.
So it doesn't
So-
matter if you're left or right-handed, or is it more right-hander oriented?
No, it doesn't. No, it's, and you don't set it up hand dominant. You don't set it up for a particular hand. Let me tell you, this group is asking great questions. Really good questions. Let me do this one. Let me do one more here. This is the,
What's that little guy? Oh,
this is a Luna something. This is the diorama thing.
oh yeah, you were telling us about this.
And
I bet you there's like 3D
I should have
surgeries, like
started.
heart surgeries.
Yeah, that one's $50. I'm not doing that one. Let me start that over so I can get a.
Hey, Marty, did you ever find
yeah.
the background distracting, like your living room? Would you like it to be like the Disney theater instead, or something, or a scene from the movie?
I can do
Oh,
that.
can you make a wallpaper? You can. So
Oh,
it's like a
yeah.
wallpaper.
Well, you can't make a wallpaper. They give you environments, is what they call it.
Oh, it's an environment.
I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think you can, and you can choose day or night. I prefer to do day. I like a brighter background. And you can control the size of that. You might see that when I touch this crown and start to turn it, these two little things come up, and one makes the environment bigger or takes it completely out.
And those icons there, that's like the launch pad. Is it always in that configuration
Yeah.
with that many? And I take it you can move them around
Yeah,
and
it
put them
is.
in folders.
Yeah, it is. That's the hope that 2.0 will give us, the ability to have more customization. It starts off on the first page basically with Apple apps. Then it has this
Yeah.
thing called compatibility apps that I don't like as a folder, because it's got some stuff in there that I would really like to pull out and have on a main screen, like Discord.
Oh, and you can't pull them out yet.
Reddit. And I can't pull them out yet. It's got Outlook in there for some reason. It's got Calendar in there. Shortcuts, and then Simple Mind Pro is a mind map. Slack is in here, so people are looking for customization. Let me do this Looney thing. If I can get this
Does
started.
it give you any
Let's
kind of
restart.
haptic feedback?
None at all.
Nothing in the
Interesting.
visor area. No
Because
vibration
you're not
of
touching
anything.
anything.
Right.
Not in
But
the
there's nothing in the
headset, no.
visor to vibrate. Okay.
Nope.
Until they make gloves for it.
Yeah, till somebody makes gloves for it. So I'll show this and then maybe I'll try and show a panorama photo. So
It's
this is
interesting 'cause
the great.
You wouldn't want haptic feedback on your head. I see the point there, but maybe gloves would be a way to do that.
Mhm. Or
Yeah,
in the watch, does
So
it
this
have
is
any connection to your Apple Watch at all? Can you
no,
lock it with your Apple Watch?
Do you wish it did?
no. Here's my Apple Watch. It's showing up better than somebody asked about phone.
Yeah, I asked about
This
the
is
phone.
my-
I wondered. Oh, it kind of like disappears. Oh,
Yeah,
weird. Yeah.
particularly when it's in front of an object. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Because you can do gestures with the Apple Watch, and I wonder if they'll somehow find a way to integrate that with the visor.
so this is that
Oh, that's neat.
meditative.
Mm.
Puzzle.
Yeah, it's a
I have
diorama
a
sort of thing.
Oh, I have a silly
And it
question. I'll get made
probably
fun
that
of for
piece.
it, but I'll ask it anyway.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with ASMR?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you,
I think this would be fantastic for that.
well, we'll have to look into that. I think you probably have something there. You can't hear it. Let me see and I don't know if I can turn up the volume on this. I don't know if that helps at all,
No,
if you can hear it, but there's a
Mm.
very soft sounding,
I can see that it's raining.
yep, well, it's raining outside of this music store. That probably
Marty, you
goes
mentioned
down.
your son. Have you guys tried to use your devices together?
Oh, we don't have, believe me, my son just got his first job. He does not have the device. It's just that I thought this would be something he'd really enjoy. And if I had it, the more people that I could have
Yeah,
playing it would be, would add more value to it. So I did get him a sleeve, to fit it on. That fits him. But frankly, he's so busy at his new job that haven't
good
seen him.
time.
And then I just my wife and I went through a bout of COVID. So we've been shored up. Okay, so I'm putting the last piece here. And then all of these appear again. So you have new pieces. So the puzzle just continues to build like that.
Now, what happens if you go to a different room? Do those pieces hang out there or do they follow you?
I don't know. If I walk around, they'll stay here.
Do you have to go clean up? Do you have to go clean up your mess? Does your wife say, "Did you left your socks on the floor again?"
No, I can move.
Except this time it's you left this bookcase in the living room. Could you please pick it up?
If I pick this, I'm holding this right now. I can walk this around the house if I want to. I don't know if these will follow me or not, if these objects will follow me or not.
I
They
heard
look
someone say
stationary.
that you can accidentally leave windows in another part of the house and have to go retrieve them. Is that a glitch or does that happen to you?
No, I mean, it's spatial computing. It's using the space that you walked into. So these
Weird.
first apps are all Apple apps, and then alphabetically they lay out the other apps. So I'm gonna try and look for,
But you could actually
So
leave
you could
things
just
in
open up
different
your
rooms
photos
of your
library.
house.
see, that's
Yeah,
scaring me.
that's what I'm wondering. Ah,
And that's me as a child, but I don't know if you can see the dimensionality of it as I move
yeah, I
around.
can.
That
Yeah.
was adjusted with, um, and so let me go to
So you would
panorama.
open up your photos and you could just leave it here in your living room and then walk to the kitchen and open up some other app, cooking app, do your thing in the kitchen and come back and your photos would be hanging out here in the living room for you.
Right. But
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
sure, this is and I'm not standing up on this because I think it'll take me out of the field of view. But this is a panorama shot I took this summer we have international
Oh.
teachers that come to our university,
Oh, wow.
and we had an outdoor party for them. So it's really kind of immersive. And that poor guy
Yeah,
has
you can
lost
really
his
look around.
hand.
Literally, or because the photo is like a mutant?
Because the photo chopped it off.
Okay.
He was playing cornhole, and I was
Oh, I
moving
see.
the camera, and apparently it cut him off, so.
I do that with my nieces and nephews every time they come to visit from Boston. We play a game called Let's Make Mutants. And I do triple exposures with the panoramic setting on the iPhone, and they just get such a kick out of it.
So yeah, you can do some pretty amazing stuff with this. I don't even remember when this was shot. Oh, this was shot in an airport. I was in
Well, is there an information panel? Can you swipe up and
Yeah,
see the
info.
metadata on it?
You're the photographer, I'm not. Let me figure this
So
out.
it's amazing photography, though.
It is.
Do that.
There's
Yeah, what's in the corner? Info, get info.
no,
Now
it
I would
doesn't
want the
say it.
feature like on the iPhone where you can just swipe up and then see the metadata and add a caption to it right away. And then in this case, you'd use your voice to
Yeah, I'm
dictate it.
surprised there isn't some info somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in version 2.
Right.
What about the maps view in photos where you can see all of your
Ooh.
pictures plotted out on the globe? You can go by location
Well, when Marty has
instead of
this figured
album.
out, maybe we'll have him come back.
Well, I'm
Seeing as
giving
how
him
he's now
homework,
a-
you see.
Well, now that he's a member, he could come back weekly and just give us status reports.
Really?
Marty's vision update.
Monopolized Marty for over an hour now. So
We've all lost track of time now. I can see how that would happen incredibly
Anything
easy
else
in
you'd
this.
like to? I'm looking to see if there's anything remarkable in here.
Yeah, Marty,
You talked about, yeah.
Yeah, I put something in the chat.
Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I froze for a while, so I missed part of your demonstration. My biggest concern is Apple was making a big push when iOS 15 came out, that they have sensors in there so that if you're too close to your face, it'll let you know. And they were very concerned about the brightness of an iPhone looking at a screen so close to somebody's eyes. Do you have any concern about that with the Apple Vision Pro, since it's only an inch or two from your eyes?
Good
Yeah,
question.
actually, there is a sensor in here that will tell you if your eyes are too close. I've had it happen a couple of times. And when you buy the Vision Pro, they give you two cushions that
Mhm.
fit on top of the, closest to your face. One is a thin cushion and one is a thick cushion. And if you're using lenses, they want you to use the thicker cushion because it makes the adjustment for the field of focus. But they will let you know right away. The device will let you know your eyes are essentially too close to the lenses.
Can you wear glasses with them, or do you have to just use the subscription lenses?
You can't wear glasses. You would give the glasses prescription, and Zeiss would cut the lenses for you. Prescriptions are 150. When they first started talking about prescription lenses and they identified Zeiss, people were saying things like, they're gonna cost $700 a pair.
And every year you have
But
to
they're
update
150.
them.
Good.
Yeah, I guess, I'll have to update them in a year if my prescription changes. It hasn't changed too much with my eyes, but I'm sure others will have to update them.
Do you know anything about the
and
sensor? The sensor that detects
sensor,
if your
what-
eyes are too close? Is it a camera inside that's looking at your
There are
eyeballs?
cameras inside of this, which is what generates those funky looking eyes on the
Oh my gosh.
outside of it.
So in the
It's taking a
future,
live picture.
optometrists could use this and actually do vision exams.
They could use the technology, yeah.
That would
I'm
be
not
wild.
sure it would come in this kind of format. But there are cameras, so when I close my eyes, on the outside, you see my eyes closed. Or if we're using my persona and I'm in the Zoom meeting just in my persona, which is a disembodied floating head. I like to come in and say, I am the great and powerful Oz. Most
I'm thinking
folks
Max
get that
Headroom.
joke. Yeah, or Max Headroom. And if I make those, if I do that, then there's the cameras are looking at my eyes, and there are cameras pointing down at my mouth. So as my head is talking and my audio is the camera is watching my mouth, and my persona's mouth is moving too. So there are a lot of cameras pointed outward, but there's a lot of cameras pointed inward too. And the cameras
could
are also
detect
those cameras that
Parkinson's
use
and
to detect
strokes.
pardon?
This could detect Parkinson's and strokes and things like that. There'd be a lot of early detection that could come from this.
Yep.
How do you work on a message?
Um,
How do you answer?
I'll tell you, with messages, where is messages? Messages just pop up for me.
Yeah, maybe Bob can send you a message.
There we
Yeah,
go.
can you
There's
open the Zoom
message.
chat?
In this, can I open a Zoom chat? Well, right now I'm doing, Zoom is happening,
How do you answer that?
through, I'm using this as a sharing my screen, so I'm not sure I can see anything that comes into the chat. So this is what my text messages look like. And I was talking about, was using Paxlovid and messaging this to a friend of mine.
How do you
But I can simply,
How do you
I
answer
can
that?
simply tell Siri or I can click on that and get some options to
So there's no
respond to
keyboard that
messages.
rises up?
Let me see if I can get.
So
I'll
it would
text
be
my
voice
wife.
dictation primarily?
There's
You
the
can
there we
use
go.
messages, Marty, to send me Apple Cash in the amount of $3,500.
Yeah, I could. So
You don't even have to use
here's the
messages. You
text.
can use Siri to do that.
Always the dreamer, Bob.
Here's the keyboard.
If you don't
and
ask.
I'm looking at different letters on the key and their keyboard, and they're lighting up. Or
Is
I
that
can look up at the
practical?
microphone
But you
and I
have to do
can
with your
tap on the
eyes.
microphone and say, "Hi, Aileen, this is just a test message. I know you're asleep." And there's the text. There's the text message in there. And then I can go ahead and send it.
Yeah,
Now,
Apple
as you move
Dictation
forward,
got way better
yeah.
in
Oh, yeah.
iOS 17.
I use it all the time.
If a message comes in here, it will pop up. I'll get a little floating icon to tell me that there's a message, and I can look at it, tap it, and it'll open up messages. So,
Okay, Marty, we're gonna
okay,
shut you down here because, as you said in the beginning, you could just do this for hours and hours. We'll have you come
Yeah, I
back
know.
soon and do another hour.
So I am gonna stop sharing and
Glad I'm
see
not
if
the
I can
only
get
one.
back on, see if I can
And-
get back on the screen here.
And Marty,
Yeah,
next
I'm back.
month, feel free to stop by the Ask Me Anything, the early meeting. Because I'm
Yeah,
sure people may have other questions. And
Yeah,
that's a good forum for that.
I'm on Tuesday nights. I'm now part of Mac Voices, which is Chuck Joyner's group.
Right.
And they record from 8 o'clock to close to 10. And so I'm gonna make the regular meetings as I can, but that's kind of blocked out for me to be there as available as I can for that. I've been enjoying that. And now I see that there are a bunch of messages.
Okay, so now I'm gonna pick the door prize winner. And
Marty, that was really amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yes, it
Thanks.
was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Next
Yeah,
time,
that's
Marty can pick the winner with the Vision Pro.
Thank
And
you so
Bob-
much, Marty.
And Bob and Kurt, Marty has been a member since last May, so it's almost time for him to renew.
Right.
I think there might be an error there because I didn't even meet Marty until July.
You know, I was shopping for other virtual meetings around that time, and then I think I met you at MacStock and said,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of aware of
I
Team
made the
Up.
deposit in May for his check.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
So, okay, now let's pick a door prize winner. Pick a number between 1 and 22.
It's 8.
I heard
I
somebody
don't
answer.
suppose anybody heard that answer, did you?
I thought
No.
it said
heard
3.
No, it's not 3, Kevin. You're number 3.
Am I? How
Pick a
would I
number
know?
between 1 and 22.
That would be 15.
15.
15. 15 is Chris Wesselman.
Yay!
Chris-
Yay!
You have not won the door prize in the last 3 months?
I think it was last summer, wasn't it? We'd have to
I
look it
think
up.
so, yeah.
Okay, then you be the winner. Thank you so much, Marty, and congratulations, Chris, and congratulations, Susan Clement. And I want everybody to drive safely on their way home tonight, and we will see you again in a month.
Look forward to it.
And
You know,
during
Bob-
our meeting, it has become spring. So happy spring for everybody.
Happy spring.
One last thought, Bob. If
Yeah.
Marty could come back when there are insanely cool things on the ABP, that might be a good way to punctuate it. When there's something really cool, really different, really novel that can't be done any other way, you know, that kind of stuff, or stuff you're doing and liking, you know,
Mhm.
that would be fun in the future.
We
I
would be
think.
happy,
What
we'd be
if it-
happy
what
to
if
have you
there's-
come back, Marty.
Yeah, what if
Uh,
there's nothing cool? Does that mean I can't come back?
No, you can't come
No.
Just make it
Bob
cool.
Doms just dropped into the chat a reminder about tonight's feedback form, and he gives you a link, and we would like you to click on that link. You don't even have to fill it out tonight, but if you click on the link and leave the window open, you can fill it out tomorrow to let us know what we did right, what we did wrong, and what you'd like to see in the future. And it really does help us.
Okay, what we
other
could do-
than that,
What we could do in the future is if Marty has something great to present, he could let you know before, and just like we have an accessibility moment, we can have a Marty moment.
yeah, but can we have,
That's what I was thinking.
can we have a Marty moment for an hour every month?
Right.
Well, we'd have to
You
find.
know,
a way
I'm
limit
happy to
him
come
5
back and
minutes.
present. I'm happy to come back and present on other things too. I just want to give a little plug. You can catch me Jencius, Jencius, at mastodon.social. And also Tech Savvy Professor is a podcast that I do, and Circular Firing Squad is another podcast that I produce. So you can catch me there too.
Thank you, Marty. I should
Great.
have done that before.
That's okay.
And-
That's no, I mean, I'm plugging any way I can, but feel free to contact me through Mastodon, Jencius at mastodon.social, or Jencius@mac.com if you want to do that email.
Okay,
All
very
right.
good, very good. Good night, everybody.
Right.
See you in a
Thank
month.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Let us know
Thanks.
how you liked it.
Good night.
Always fun.
Thank you. Another good one on the books.
Thanks again, Marty. It was great.
Thanks, Chris. My pleasure.
I'd make your wish list strong.